Hello, hello. Welcome back.
Hi everyone, my name is Nelson or Nelly.
I'm Jesus, PeanutTheWicked. Your homie is here.
How are you, Miss Nada que Verientas?
How y'all doing? Welcome to another episode of the Missing Component podcast. How you feeling today, Nelly?
Annoyed.
Oh, why?
Annoyed at this fucking weather.
True. I'm over this fucking winter. Excuse my language. I'm over this winter. Over it. Over it. Over
New
it.
York, well, I wouldn't say New York, it's just this weather's shiny right now because I'm just like not feeling this fucking cold anymore. I'm not.
Anyways, so welcome to a new episode of The Missing Component. First off, we want to say thank you guys who have been watching. We definitely need you guys to like and subscribe and comment and share it with a friend. Tell your friends about us.
Remember, guys, you need to like or dislike, doesn't matter. But you have to be a little more active
Yes.
socially.
Yes.
So like, dislike, comment, share, and subscribe or follow. It's very important out there to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, what is today's episode going to be about?
Before that,
okay,
we're gonna talk about the song of the day.
Oh, the song of the week.
What's the song of the week? What you start?
For me right now, my song of the week that I've been kind of obsessing with, I've been listening to back to back right now, is Nadie by Tito Doble P. It's a Spanish Mexican song. I'm obsessed with this song. So basically the song is about you're basically saying to the ex, to your last person, like, I don't want you back. I don't need you back. Don't you dare come back. Please avoid coming back because I don't want to avoid me treating you like shit. Stay where you are. Stay who you're with. Leave. Let's save us the trouble of leaving each other alone. Otherwise, it's gonna get ugly.
Mexican music, so dramatic, like a
telenovela. It is.
So I am listening to two. I've been listening to two songs, but I am gonna pick one.
Okay.
And it'll be "My Future" by Billie Eilish.
Okay.
That has been like playing in my head for the last week. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I think it resonates right now with my life. And yeah, "My Future" by Billie Eilish.
Okay. Period. That's nice. Nice. Period. Period. All right, let's get to it. Let's get to it.
So,
what are we talking about today?
Today's topic is going to be about triggers.
Triggers.
Okay. Triggers.
Doing the most as usual.
So for the people that don't know, triggers or trigger is a noun in the English vocabulary. It's basically a cause of an event or situation to happen or exist, or it could be used as a distress from someone, typically as a result of arousing feelings or memories associated with a particular traumatic experience. I'm just annoying her. No, yeah. So we're gonna talk about triggers. Okay. I think
that'll be fun.
It's a fun topic to talk about right now. Because we are in the winter and we are getting triggered by this fucking weather.
This cold is triggering.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, what does trigger mean to you personally?
Personally, what a trigger means is something that I guess quickly will set you off, even though maybe sometimes it shouldn't. But we all take things different because we all have different perspectives and we all have different opinions on things. And again, like depending on maybe sometimes depending on what you've been through in life, different things will trigger you, set you off differently. Like something that might trigger me might not trigger you, might not trigger somebody who's watching us, somebody who's watching, or even you. Something that triggers me, your opinion could be like, you shouldn't be so triggered by that. You shouldn't be so bothered by that. But you don't know the reasoning behind that, and instead of being so judgmental towards one another, maybe we should meet each other with more empathy.
Some more than others, but I agree.
Yeah.
I do agree with what you said with the whole being more empathic to others when it comes to different triggers. I think the younger generation is a little more vocal when it comes to having triggers and vocalizing their triggers, and I feel like the older generation, which is
like our age and older.
Our age and older,
yeah,
more closer to your age, but here with the old jokes,
tired of it.
So, but I think the younger generation, by vocalizing their triggers, kind of trigger the older generation to be. It's like the older generation doesn't want to remind themselves, or don't want to really think about.
They don't want to
address that situation.
They don't want to address certain shit. They don't want to address maybe what's been bothering them for, let's say, their entire life. Sometimes
they want to just forget.
They just want to forget. They either want to forget or sweep it under the rug. And in all honesty, like that's no way to live. Whatever is a trigger to you, like you have to really deep dive within yourself, what it is, why it is, how can I move past it? Because you living with triggers is no way to live. You know what I mean? Not that you're not gonna have annoyances or slight hiccups in your daily life. It's gonna happen, but there are things that you definitely should work through, or what have you.
I do agree. I think I started being more vocal about my triggers. There's some people that are out there that the people that I want to have around I've noticed are the people that consider my triggers, and they're very considerate when it comes to me vocalizing and understanding that there's certain things that trigger me. And the people that I don't want around are the people that just brush it off, immediately, or can't empathize with the triggers I have, But yeah, do you want to talk a little bit about a situation or event that triggered you? Because I do want to.
Do I want to talk about something that
you
triggered me?
Yeah. Because I do want to. Come on, girl. Spill the tea for the audience right now.
For the audience.
For the audience. Just one event. Anything.
I guess the last thing that triggered me was something maybe work related. Something that definitely triggers me is being spoken to like
a child.
Yeah.
Is your height, girl?
It might be because of my height. It might
your
be,
height.
But I like I'm I may be really short. I literally look like a Funko Pop. However, I'm a grown ass man. I'm a grown ass man, and definitely something that really triggers me, that really gets under my skin, is being spoken to like I'm a child, being spoken to like I don't know, or like I'm dumb, things like that. Back up, things like that.
I do agree.
That happened recently at work, where I was spoken to like I was dumb, or like I don't pay attention to things, or like you can feed me bullshit and think that I'm just gonna take in the bullshit you're giving me and I'm just gonna believe it. No, that's something that definitely triggers me. Or like more than me, when sometimes, in all honesty, like you don't, and that's fine. That's something that I can say. That's the first thing that comes to my head. It's because it did happen recently at work.
Even though she doesn't want to go personal, obviously. I do want to go a little more personal in
Okay,
depth on when it
we can
comes
do
to
that.
me.
Okay.
You know, I just triggered her. You see her reaction. I literally just triggered
If I was
her.
triggered, I would have backhanded her.
Bitch, please.
Yeah.
For me, my recent most trigger, the recent trigger that really has like irked my nerves, um, that I've noticed and I just caught like this week is when even though I am a queer gay man, like when I get approached by men, um, depending on the way they approach me, like I do get triggered. Um, it's something I'm working on just because I've had situations in the past where they were a little bit more, how would I put this? Dangerous. And I might elaborate later on in life. But
Uh-huh.
I've noticed that surrounding myself by men that I don't know and I don't feel comfortable around, I usually have that shock and it takes me back to a certain place in my life that I personally did not like. So now that I'm aware of that trigger, I feel like I need to learn how to manage and cope with that trigger.
Mm.
Just because I am a guy who likes guys. So it does affect me in my everyday life.
And I think it's very like people who are self-aware that this is something that triggers me and it's something that I have to work through. It's something that we should, like respect and commend because not everyone is aware and not everyone is willing to admit that they have something that triggers them or something deep down that gets them to just kind of set off. These days I definitely think these days more people are more self-aware, like this is something that's triggered me, let me go address this by myself or seek some professional help or what have you. It was something that it took me a while. I mean, it didn't take me a while to know what it was that was triggering me. It took me a while to actually fix it. Because as everyone who's ever known me knows, I don't have patience. I get.
She's an Aquarius. We know that.
Is that what it is?
Yes, girl.
Oh, I don't know.
Hmm.
But yeah.
Anywho, um, for example, for you, since your trigger is more work related and it's being around people, um, before I ask you this question, um, one thing I noticed that my trigger doesn't affect me when I'm at work. It just affects me more when I'm just by myself in my everyday life. Like when it comes to work, like I feel like I wouldn't say I put on a persona, but like I am in work mode. So I go about it with a little more confidence and more assurance. But when it comes to being outside of work or being outside a space where um I don't have to put that armor on, um my trigger does affect me, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So that needs to be worked on. But talking about going back to the work related situation,
Mm-hmm.
what are some coping mechanisms that you use to manage that trigger at work?
Um, Once I feel like I'm triggered, I personally will just
Fight?
withdraw and I will stick to myself at work. Like I won't talk to anybody. I'll kind of just stick to myself. I'll get shit done. Whatever needs to be done on my end will get done, but I will kind of just stick to myself. Like, um, I think anybody who's ever worked with me, whether this current job or my last jobs, like everybody will tell you, I like to when I'm in, depending on my mood, I'm a social butterfly. So I'll talk to everybody and mingle with everybody. But yeah, once I'm in a bad mood, there's no going back sometimes. But now that I realize that it's not healthy to be around people when I'm triggered or not in a good mood, I just kind of just, not that I hide, but I just stick to myself. I'll hide somewhere where I kind of will like not be seen and just, I'll stick to myself and I'll let my feelings run its course, because I know it's not healthy if I'm around people that can see that.
So, I'm guessing it's easier for you to hide because of your height.
So yeah.
No, for me, I think the way I have coped with being around men who are strangers, and have to speak to or have a conversation with, um, when I think it triggers me when they get too close. When
Mm.
they're like less than a foot or like a foot and a half away, like I get like I'm just like why why are you so close? Like back the fuck up. I don't know if it's a New York thing
It might be.
because we're always surrounded by like fucking people who are so close to
Yeah.
you, but at the same time, it's just like yeah, like I'm just like why the fuck are you so close?
Back up.
Like back up.
Back up.
Um, but I think my coping mechanism is just like just go, you know, answer the questions they're asking me if they're asking me questions, and go about my way, you know. I think
Kind of like entertain the conversation.
I don't entertain the conversation, especially if someone is someone that is trying to hit on me, and I'm like, you know, it has happened to me in the gym multiple times because you know I'm a bitch is working out now, you know. So, like 2 days ago, I was at the gym and there was a few guys that were like actually hitting on me. But when I'm at the gym, like a lot of gay men like tend to just like either hook up or use that platform to like flirt or find guys. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and when I'm at the gym, I'm in like workout mode,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't like to be bothered when I'm at the gym. But then at the same time, like I think about it and I'm just like, fuck. So when is the right time to flirt with me? You know? So I'm trying to open that show up, but
Yeah.
it's hard because these men are fucking nasty. Like men in general are fucking nasty. Gay, straight,
Oh yeah, I agree
bisexual
with
men are
that.
fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
Um,
In terms of like wanting to already just jump down your throat,
exactly.
already wanting to get in your pants, gay or straight. Very true.
It's just nasty, and
Not
I,
all, though. I will say not all. Some men do have a little more composure. Some men are a little more
yeah.
respectful.
I like the men that
Um.
have composure and have education when they approach me.
Mhm.
But the men that just like are fucking dogs, like I'm like, you know, occasionally I throw a little, a little, to keep on flirting, but I don't entertain men that are nasty and
Mhm.
having dog like behavior.
Dog
It's
like behavior.
dog like
Wow.
woof woof behavior, girl.
Uh-huh.
No, yeah, but that's the way I cope with it. I guess I just put in my armor. When I know that my anxiety is acting up, I literally just breathe. I breathe, or but before, when I first had left the situation that caused this trigger, it was very hard for me to like actually be around guys a lot. Like I didn't want to be, and I think that was a year where that was like 2 years ago when I wasn't really seeing you for that whole year, and I was telling
Mhm.
you like I can't.
Mm.
It's because I think it was hard for me to explain that I couldn't be around men that year. I couldn't be around men. I didn't want to be around men. I didn't want to be around um I just wanted to be around immediate family,
Mm.
and even though I do consider immediate family, I just didn't want to. I didn't want. I think I was more ashamed of you seeing me in that state of like,
In that light, in that state
in
of
that
frantic
of like I was just
behavior.
like, you
Yeah,
know,
I get it.
um, yeah, but
I think, and I think sometimes with true friendships, you do allow your friends to go through whatever it is that they're going through on their own. And when your friend is ready and willing to talk or open up about it, then that's up to the friend. But sometimes you do gotta let your friends handle that on their own. You know what I mean?
um, so I'm sorry, I'm on my phone right now, but there is this tapping mechanism that my I'm trying to like find out who's the originator of this tapping mechanism. I know it starts with a P, but I forgot. But when I was going through that tough situation of like I couldn't handle being around strangers, especially men, like I would have
Mm-hmm.
to, because it's when you have triggers, it becomes kind of like an out of body experience. Like you become very anxious or very hyper vigilant, because it has triggered you. Those are symptoms of being triggered. So when I was going through like when I was in like the worst of the worst, like I had to basically tell myself it was going to be okay because I was going through um an anxious attack. So I would use tapping mechanisms, tap, my hand, my leg. Sometimes, remind myself that I have to breathe. I'll do deep breaths and just tap, 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 tap. And it will basically like it's like the tapping mechanism is used to basically tell your body to make your body react to the present time and to tell your body like kind of like wake up, you're here, you're not there, because the trigger will take you back to the place that um traumatized you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like it's like your mind plays tricks on you and it takes you back. So in order for you to come back, you have to tap have like a tapping, like tap any part of your body. Usually you see people either tapping like this, tapping on their leg.
Mm-hmm.
Some people even tap their head or tap their mouth, um just so they could go through that anxious state of mind and come back to their present time body, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yes, girl. So, look, I'm teaching you guys something. I'm not even a licensed therapist.
Mm-hmm.
Have you identified any patterns or specific themes related to your triggers?
Um, the only pattern is anybody who's ever known me, personal work. I don't like being spoken to. In my thing is come correct and we'll get along. But if you kind of talk to me in a way that's just outright out of the code of conduct of respect, yeah, I get triggered. I don't like being spoken to like with any slight disrespect. I like that. That's the pattern, definitely for sure. Just come correct, and we'll be okay.
I think I've pushed that button when it comes to you, and I usually poke that button with the
What do you mean?
whole like first of all, bitch. I think I'm teaching you patience, a little more
You're
patience, and
challenging me.
I'm yeah, I'm challenging you when it comes to like patience. I
Yeah,
think
you definitely do. Like again, I think we spoke about it in another video where we were out and the bartender kind of annoyed me, and it was clear as day on my face that I was annoyed. And he kept having to be like, change your face, watch your face, change your face. Somebody at work actually did that too. Actually, now that I remember, one of my friends did that. Like she walked by and she was like, "How are you doing?" I was like, "Good." And she's like, "Change your face," and I was like, "I'm trying."
it's funny because we're very similar when it comes to stuff like that. With I think we can't hide our facial expressions. Maybe you a little bit more than me, but when we're in a very uncomfortable space or uncomfortable um we're placed in in
Uncomfortable situation.
situation or feeling, like we cannot hide that.
Yeah, it's clear as day.
Yeah.
It's clear as day. But I'm definitely trying. I definitely over the past few years of me definitely healing, I've definitely learned to control my mouth, just not my face. I'm trying.
I think it's way better to get to that point. It's okay to have expression in your face, I feel, because words can fucking hurt, and then expressions, like facial expressions, could like say a lot, but then you're not hurting people verbally. Um, I think that for me over the years, when it comes to like, I remember when I was younger, I probably would tell people off or come off shady or disrespectful.
Yeah.
And I think what has like the growth I've done is that I now I think or I remove myself from that situation and then come back to it, you know?
Mm.
And a lot of people, there's some people out there that either want the answer right away, like why? And and
Yeah,
I've
some people just want shit addressed without
yeah.
letting you maneuver through your emotions and choose your words wisely. Sometimes when you're in a moment where you're like, yeah, you're having whatever with somebody, like if you need space, if you need time, then you should absolutely be given that. Because if you're not, you might accidentally say the wrong thing, act on emotion, and there are
Mhm.
things that you can't come back from.
Oh honey, and I've said some things that were very hurtful before. And now that I'm older, I think I look back at things and I'm just like, shit, I could have handled that differently.
Mm.
But
But that's a
everything
beautiful
is
that's a beautiful thing about life.
yeah.
Like I always say, like life is about evolution, evolving, and if you can look back at it and be like, yeah, damn, like I could have handled that differently. That means that that lesson that you learned, whether it was learning it the hard way or not, like you'll be able to take it with you in the future. And when you have like, let's say like our younger friends, you'll be able to teach them. You know what I mean? But then it's up to people to take in that information.
Because I met some younger friends who, honey, they don't want to be taught. They just want to keep acting a hot mess, and I'm not about that. Um.
Uh-huh.
So how does the triggers that you have in your life, how has it impacted in your life, socially or in an everyday kind of like situation?
Um, how have my triggers affected?
You or the other people, one of those
Sometimes
two.
I'm gonna speak for myself,
Oh, girl.
but I think sometimes when I'm triggered, and let's say in the past when I have mouthed off, or it's in my face that I'm not okay, um, I think that people then sometimes get a wrong impression of me. Not that I care, or or because like if we're all human, so we're all gonna have a moment where we're not okay. We're annoyed about something, mad about something, something slightly inconvenienced us. Like we're allowed to have a moment. And again, instead of meeting each other with judgments, just let people have their moment.
What would you tell to your younger viewers or your younger friends
About what?
about what we're talking about? What you were just saying
It,
about the whole
that
like.
it's okay to be triggered. It's okay to have a moment, but learn to do your best to take yourself out of it. And in all honesty, if the people around you are going to judge you off of a moment, then those are people you don't need around you. That definitely, I feel like, to answer the question, has my triggers affected? Like around whatever, I think it has. Again, I think people get this preconceived notion that maybe I'm somebody who is always mad, who always has an attitude, which is not all the way incorrect. However, I think I'm cool as shit. So if you're just gonna judge me off of me having a moment because I'm having a moment for whatever reason, I don't need those people. If you're gonna have preconceived notions about me or have a prejudgment about me, I don't need people like that. So to answer the question, has it affected me? Sure, but I don't fuck.
I think that going back to what you just said about the whole like we have like anger issues or whatever whatnot, like maybe those are not the adequate people to be around with
Absolutely.
because as a grown fucking person, you should have the capacity to be like communicate and be like, um, you know, I didn't like that you do this, or when you do this, it makes me feel such a way. As a grown person, you should communicate, and I think us. the reason we come off strong is because we communicate. We communicate our own way, and we might not be able to have.
Our communication is direct, and some
Yeah.
people don't know how to take that.
Mm-hmm.
To some people, it's like you're coming up too strong or you're coming up too aggressive. No, I'm not beating around the bush. It's something that a lot of people these days do. They'll beat around the bush or they'll sugarcoat shit.
They're
I'm not sugarcoating nothing.
It's because they're afraid of what's the fucking word? That's what I see. Confrontation. Because they're afraid. I think it's more about confrontation.
Yeah. I
Than
think
other things.
I that's something that I've had to deal with. Like, it's okay if some people naturally are non-confrontational. That is definitely okay. I respect that you don't want confrontation in any way, shape, or form. However, there will always be a time and a place where you have to address shit. Even if you're non-confrontational, you do have to address shit head on and be direct about shit. Otherwise, sometimes being the non-confrontational person you'll be the easy target.
I think there's a line between like addressing and confrontation.
Absolutely.
And I think that
There's
a lot of people that don't like addressing or confrontation, they tend to just don't like speaking up at all.
Yeah.
And as an adult,
you have to. You have to.
That's part of life.
Yeah, unfortunately. Like, again, it's totally okay to be non-confrontational. What that means is that you're quicker to choose your words, you're quicker to choose the correct tone, and I respect that. But you have to learn how to do so. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think we both are very open when it comes to like the people who are afraid to address or confront the situation when it comes to us both. I think if people like take a second and like be like, hey, I didn't like that you do this because it made me feel this way. I think we're smart enough.
And it's definitely happened before with like other friends where maybe I did something to upset them or got them mad or whatever, and they'll then we'll have a one-on-one later when their emotions calm down. Hey, I didn't like this, whatever. And as an adult, as somebody who's a true friend, you have to accept sometimes, like, all right, I was out of line. I apologize. You know what I'm saying? Because it's okay to have little shit like that. Oh, I did something to piss you off or to annoy you. When your emotions are when you have your emotions handled and you communicate that as a real friend, as somebody who's an adult, as somebody who is not afraid to say, all right, I'm sorry.
And it's an ego thing at the end of the day.
Sometimes, yeah.
It's an ego thing.
Sometimes, yeah.
It's an ego thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how? Any questions you want to ask?
I don't have a question. No.
This bitch. She said no. You never say no, girl. But yeah, like I think a lot of I think I removed myself from a lot of people that
that's something that
their ego is not unchecked.
Something that me and him still have this conversation. We've had this conversation for years. Is that you should keep yourself away from people who trigger you, people who make you uncomfortable, people who upset you, people who throw off your good vibes. Like, people like that, you have to learn to cut them off or learn to not put yourself in not that you obviously are doing that, but learn to not to if you're seeing that you're being put in a situation that will trigger you, learn to walk away, cut things off, what have you. Like, and it's like you said in our very first video, I've been in a point in my life where I'm so quick to cut people off. So quick with it. And once I cut you off, that means my emotions, they're switched. So that means that I might see you here and there, or we'll be in the same space. Like, I see you, but I don't see you. Like, I don't care for you. You know what I'm saying?
The amount of fucking energy you have to like
I don't know if it's
control that emotion,
I
those
don't yeah,
emotions.
I don't know if it's because I'm in such a level of peace or it's because my level of I don't give a fuck has gotten out of control. But I really am in that point in my life where I'm just like any like shit that slightly inconveniences my peace, I'm cutting it off. Because we are too old. We should be more aware. We should be more like open to addressing shit. And
Especially nowadays,
yeah,
honestly.
people are not.
Especially nowadays, like it should be very, very clear. Um, I think we both have some intimidation. We tend to intimidate people, um, because we do have strong personalities. But I think that shouldn't be a problem when it comes to like speaking up for yourself. And I think a lot of people are afraid of that.
Yeah,
You
sometimes when you
know,
speak up for yourself, people take it as you're being confrontational or
yeah.
you're just like you're causing drama. And no, I'm just saying, hey, I don't like this or what have you. Again, it's also how you
Eres una
choose.
pinche culera.
It's also about choosing the right words. It's about speaking in the right tone. Because yeah, like when you address shit, you definitely don't want the other person to feel attacked. However,
Okay, Laganja.
however, people are gonna take things how they're gonna take it.
I think I do agree with you with the whole once you reach a certain age bracket, I'll suggest,
No,
or level of
I don't give a fuck.
no, or level of
Of
like
peace.
no, I would say
Oh,
like a level of understanding,
okay.
um, understanding yourself, not like
Mm,
understanding anyone, but understanding yourself.
mm,
Um, you just don't like you just don't deal with bullshit. And like you
mm.
said, you have to get to that level of like I don't give a fuck, but
I've been trying to teach him how to be on that
bitch, I
level.
really don't give a fuck. I just
You
think
give a
that
fuck a little more than
I
me.
do give a fuck a little bit more than because I think with the work that I've done throughout the years,
Fair, fair
you
enough.
made me a little bit more emotional, more empathic towards people because I do understand the struggles of life. Um, I've had struggles in life, but I also understand other people's, and I'm very empathic to that. But
Hmm.
think, I think now I just don't take it too much to heart.
Yeah,
And it
I think something that I had said in a video some also is that we all have our traumas, we all have our triggers. We all are going through some shit that we're trying to work through. However, it is not an excuse to treat people poorly. And some people will use their traumas and their triggers to try to get away with treating everyone around them with disrespect
I
and
was just
poorly.
talking to someone about that victimization they use. They weaponize victimization.
Yeah.
They weaponize victimization of an issue or a trigger they had in order for them to
Hmm.
get their way.
Hmm.
And then
And then sometimes the friends around them are enabling them to keep acting that way. The family around them is enabling them to act that way because, as I said before in one of my videos, I have somebody in my family who's like that. Um, they have their traumas, their shit that they're working through, and then they act like an a-hole to everybody, and then the family around them is like, no, but they're going through a lot. It's not an excuse. Whatever you're going through, it's not an excuse to treat people poorly. Matter of fact, because you're going through some shit, what that should soften you a bit. That should make you want to be more passionate and more respectful and more understanding and more open minded. But no, some people, like you said, will weaponize their victimization to get away with their toxic behavior. And you really have to know when they're doing that. You have to know, like, oh, this person is no good.
those type of people, I'm just like, métete en una pinche caja y envíate a otro lado. Porque yo no te voy a soportar. Um, I was
That's
just
funny.
having this conversation to the whole the weaponizing their victim mentality with somebody that I know, and it's just like, especially when you're on social media and you're trying to make other people feel bad for you just for the likes or the comments or the shares, and I'm just like, girl, you look like a hot mess. You don't. I'm not. I
Some
don't.
people, yeah, some people just will play the victim and cry wolf on social media for the attention. Somebody who truly is going through some shit in within themselves, in their
They will
head,
isolate
they're
themselves.
not gonna publicize that,
Yeah, they will
because it's
isolate
something,
isolate
because
yourself.
it's like I said before, like going through a spiritual journey, going through a healing journey is extremely personal, and sometimes you're not going to share that. A lot of the times you're not going to share that. You're going to keep that to yourself because it's something you're working through for yourself. But people will use it to for attention, just straight up attention.
Girl, that's why I removed myself. That I removed that person from from
Mm,
talking to them. If you know who, you know who.
mm.
We'll talk about it later. But girl, hot
Anyway,
messes. I can't. I really can't, girl. Um, but before we end up this beautiful episode in this podcast, if you are in the New York City area, you can text to 988 for either a therapist or to just contact someone when you're suffering from like any type of
anxiety,
anxieties,
depressions.
triggers, depressions, and stuff like that. If you are from the community, Callan Lord also helps. And your local nonprofit organizations as well help. And they will guide you and they would refer you to a therapist or any mental health specialist.
Yeah.
Also, the National Alliance of Mental Illness, and that's a little more nationwide,
Mm,
can help you. There's also support groups. Just go online and look for support groups. There's also community health clinics that you could go to and they will help you and they will direct you, support you. They will refer you out. I've done that before, honey. So mental health is such a big priority
yeah.
right now,
Yeah.
especially after the pandemic. I think a lot of people are suffering from,
Yeah.
severe uh mental health disorders or
Yeah.
mental health
I
issues.
think it's important to say the reason why you're putting this information out there is because not only obviously like everyone else, you've got your own traumas, but you worked in nonprofit organizations, so you got to meet people like random people and got to know them and got to know their stories, you got to know their traumas, and because you see how real it is, and you see the work that it takes to help the communities. I think that's why it was important. I want them to know why. That's why it's important that you're putting out the information, because you've been on both sides.
Yeah.
You've been on both sides.
And you know what's crazy? Because you just brought that up.
Mhm.
While I was working with people that were going through certain issues in their life, it made me put my life into perspective. So I think that's the reason I just didn't end up worse.
Mm.
You know, I think it gave me a perspective in life, and it gave me a perspective when it comes to um, either keep hurting myself or actually doing the work to better myself.
Mm.
And I love myself, honey.
As you should.
So I will
As you
always pick
should.
me. I will always pick me. And
As
it
you
took me
should.
years to pick me, but now I pick me, girl.
As the fuck you should.
Um
What I've been telling him for years. But yeah,
so
basically.
also, you can text the crisis line if you have suicidal thoughts.
Mm.
You could text or you could call to 741-741, and that's a national number. So if you're anywhere in the United States, you could definitely text those numbers. It's very important. I think mental health is uh, a
It definitely should be a priority for
it is a
everyone.
priority. It
For
should be a
everyone. And that's
priority.
why it's very important that we understand the true definition of triggers, and that we understand our own triggers, so that we can deep dive within ourselves to know where it comes from, know what it is, what pushes you to be triggered, and how to address it and fix it. and grow out of it. Because it's okay to have traumas and triggers, but it's unfortunate. You know what the sad part is that traumas are not our fault, but growing through them is our responsibility.
Also, once you're an adult, it's your responsibility to reach out for help and better yourself, because ain't nobody gonna come and save you. You can only do it
Mm-hmm.
for yourself. And I think recognizing patterns as well when it comes to certain situations is very, very important. So yeah, so that's this week's episode. So
Yes.
yeah.
Thank you guys for joining us. And like we said, it is definitely very important and very appreciated if you guys subscribe to the channel, follow the TikTok, follow the Instagram, like us, share it with your friends, all that good stuff. All that stuff is very important. And yeah, but again, we're having fun.
Yeah, we are
We're
having
having
fun.
fun. Like,
And not all episodes are gonna be so serious. We're gonna
yeah,
have some fun episodes coming.
yeah,
I feel that the last few episodes have been a little bit more in a serious note, just because I think um we are in a time where a lot of people, with what's going on in America, a lot of people are going through certain tough situations, or going to be in certain tough situations that mental health is going to be like,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So all you got to do is look out for yourself, prioritize yourself, love yourself, and keep being fucking you.
Exactly. And that's that. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Bye, girl.
Bye.